The June 15th US-Iran agreement appears to be a peace framework rather than a deal of a comprehensive settlement between two warring nations. The four main elements are the acceptance of a ceasefire, the reopening of the Straits of Hormuz, the gradual easing of some economic restrictions, and lastly, the commitment to continue negotiations on the nuclear issues later. However, several key issues remain unresolved. To understand the crisis point and the vital Red Sea shipping route, we must identify the major players and the conflict hotspots. They're basically the countries of Lebanon, Israel, and the Palestine complex. Secondly, the Syria-Iraq complex. And lastly, Yemen itself. The cornerstone of the old US sectarian power balance for the Middle East evolved around Israel, disregarded Palestine, and looked at Iran as a rogue state. The surprising and unexpected US attack on Iran in 2026 certainly did not have the crippling and disintegrating effect expected within the country, and the dogged Iranian resistance and nationalism has forced a US reassessment. And finally, the sue for peace. This is the regional power play in the Middle East, with Turkey being a key NATO ally, Iran backing the Shias, and Saudi Arabia backing the Sunnis. For US and Israel, the efforts of the 15th of August deal are far-reaching. Israel loses strategic freedom of immediate action, and now it will not be covered immediately by the US at the occurrence of future incidences. That is perhaps why the Israeli government has been skeptical of direct 15th of June US-Iran engagement and was reportedly excluded from the negotiations. The practical future effect on Israel would be, firstly, less US support for the preemptive strikes. Secondly, more diplomatic pressure from the US. And thirdly, Israel would require additional and independent intelligence inputs for subsequent realistic military planning. The emboldened Houthi missile and ISIS challenge. The Houthis in Yemen have demonstrated their ability to launch long-range missiles and drones towards Israel and international shipping routes. With exclusive American naval protection in the Red Sea, Israel may need closer cooperation with the regional partners such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, and Jordan. At the same time, any resurgence of the ISIS in Syria or Iraq could force Israel to devote more intelligence and military resources in monitoring instability on the northern and eastern fronts. This could accelerate new security alignments among the moderate Arab states. The Palestine issue. In 1947, the UN Partition Plan, the United Nations proposed dividing the British Mandate of Palestine into separate Arab and Jewish states. While the State of Israel declared independence in 1948, a separate Arab-Palestine state was not established. The visual shows an Arab population of 1.2 million and a Jewish population of just 6 million. A US pullback could also reshape the Palestine question. The Palestine issue would likely re-emerge as a central strategic challenge rather than remaining a secondary to the regional concerns. The Strait of Hormuz factor. The Straits of Hormuz carries a significant share of the world's oil exports. The US Navy patrols decline. Regional powers may need new arrangements to generate freedom of navigation. A stable and open strait would remain essential for global energy markets and for the economics of Israel's Gulf partners. Any disruption could increase energy prices, affect regional investment, and heighten geopolitical uncertainty. A major US withdrawal would not make Israel weaker overnight, but it would force Israel to spend more, build new alliances, and assume greater responsibility for its own regional security. The last bit on Israel, the most affected nation. The June 15th deal raises important strategic questions for Israel. First, Israel could face greater constraints on military action. Secondly, the agreement leaves militant activity such as the Hezbollah and the Houthis unresolved. Thirdly, the Gulf states would readjust their diplomatic strategies. And lastly, the international attention may shift back towards the Palestine issue. The new alignment creates new strategic uncertainties regarding Iran's future capabilities and regional alliances, and encourages a re-emergence of the Palestine issue on the international agenda. But for Iran, it's presently a daunting task. Someone has to push the rubber to the sides of the road so that the cops filled wagons can pass. Someone has got to get mired in the scum of ashes, sofa springs, splintered glass, and bodyguards. Someone must drag in a girder to prop up a wall. Someone must glaze a window, rechange a door, and steady the remnant damage.